Everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So last class we discussed about the informats and formats topic, correct? So what informats will do, what formats will do? Informats are used to read the data and it will convert the non-standard data into standard data. Whereas formats used to write the data, in which format you need your output. Okay, we'll use the formats. Okay, syntax, informat, variable name, informat name, format, variable name, and that particular format name. Okay, so we worked out on few formats, right? Date 9, date 7, YYMMD, DDMM, YY, time 8, comma, dollar formats. Okay, and additionally, we saw what is column modifier. We have two usages for the column modifier. We can avoid the length statement for the character variables, and we can avoid the inform statement as well. And also we discussed about retain statement. Retain statement is to retain the variables also. We keep in there, so in which order you mention the variables and a retain statement, in the same order the variables will come in your output dataset. Okay. So we are left with, remember these options, in file options, we discussed everything, dataset options also. In input options, single trial is pending. So first we'll discuss that single trialing. Single trialing. Okay. So when we use this option, okay, when you are reading the data, conditionally, when you are reading the data, conditionally, we'll use single trailing option. When you're reading the data, conditionally, we'll use the single trailing option. So what is the meaning of conditionally reading? Okay. Okay, let me take some data first of all. Okay. So don't worry about the program here. Okay. First, understand this data. It's some sales data. These are sales ID, sales state, sales date, sales amount. ID, state, date, amount. Now I'm trying to read this data. I want to create a data set. I'm trying to read this data. I want to create a data set. Okay. If I'm trying to read this data, I'm going to create a data set. What is the issue I'm going to find out? Tell me. Observe this data and tell me.
The dates are not in the same format.
Dates are not in the same format. Correct.
Another thing is separation with comma.
It's not mandatory that your data is separated, it should be comma, right? Here my data is separated by space only.
Instead of decimal, they are separated with comma.
Yeah. Oh, that is, and this is not a separated instance. They're given the comma. So what happened here? Yes, two things. So one she told, what she told, one is dates was different. See, one is date, one date was in DD, YY format. YY format, correct? These two dates are there in YY format. If you observe, these two dates are in a date name format. And second point, what he told, yes, your sales amount, right? Your amount was in decimal. These two sales amounts are in decimals. These two sales amount have commas. Okay, clear? Now, what is the issue here? For example, if you want to read this data, you will apply in format, correct? In format, a date variable. If I apply MMDDYY 10 dot, if we apply this format, this in format, if you apply, it will read only this. It will read only these two dates only, correct? Agree? It won't read these dates. You'll get a missing value. No, sir, then I'll apply date and format. That time what's going to happen? It will read only these two dates alone. It won't read these two. You'll get a missing value. It means generally what will happen? On a one variable, only one in format you can apply. You can't apply two in formats, right? Then how can I read all the observations? The same thing is happening here as well. To read the normal decimal numbers, you don't need to do anything. Just an input statement, if you mention the amount, it will read it. As a numeric variable, it will read, because decimals are also numeric variables. Normal numbers, integer values and decimals are normal numbers only. We no need to reuse any formats and format concept to read those decimal numbers. You can directly read it. But here you have a comma. If you have a comma, you have to apply in format statement on a amount variable. If you apply some comma format only, it will read. Okay. So again, here also same scenario. If you did not apply in format, it will read only decimal numbers. It won't read these things. You'll get a missing value. No, if you apply in format on amount variable, it will read this comma related data. It won't read this data. You'll get a missing. Clear? Here, understand what is the problem? What is the issue? Everyone. Still anyone not understand the issue here? So everyone understand the issue? Guys, clear or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So now how to read this data? So now observe the data again. Observe this given raw data. Again, you find some solution. So some logically I have to read this data. So what logic I have to apply to read all the data? Anyone? Any logic did you observe? Okay. See here. This is sale ID. This is states, sales date and sales amount. Observe the state. If you observe AP state, sales dates are same format. MP states, sales dates of same format.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, AP state, amount are in decimals. MP states, amounts are in a comma.
Yeah.
Clear? Now this logic I'm going to use now. First data set name, infile data lines. So first I'm reading the sale ID state. These two variables I don't have any problem. Sale ID state I'm reading. Okay. Using column modifier I'm giving the length. Using column modifier I'm giving the length. Okay. So I mentioned a single trailing option. I'll tell you what single trailing will do. So sale ID state doesn't have any problem. The problem with date and amount only. These two variable alone, I'm going to reading by applying some condition. If your state is equal to AP, then I'm going to read. I'm writing some input statement saying that sales date I'm applying in format of MMDDYY format and sales amount. Because directly an input statement I can directly mention sales amount as a numeric variable. Else if your state is equal to MP, okay, read the sales date in a date line format and sales amount in a comma format. Okay, simple. Then after reading the data, you can apply the format in which format your final data should be displayed. Sales date in a date line format. So all the dates going to be displayed in a date line format. And all the sales amount it will display in a dollar format. Okay, clear? Simple. Now run the program. See the log. Sales data, 4 observations, 4 variables are created. 4 observations, 4 variables. Sale ID, state, sales date, and sales amount. Okay. So I'm repeating again here. Data set name. In file, my data is available, data lines location. In input statement, we have to mention the variable name. So first sales date and sale ID. States or sale ID and state you are reading. So remaining 2 variables you are reading by applying some condition. What condition you are using? If your state is equal to AP, then you are reading sales date and sales amount. If your else state is equal to MP, you are reading sales date and sales amount. Okay. So here the sales date in the MMDDY format, here sales date in a date line format. So for sales amount, here you are not applying any format because not required for a decimal numbers. But for sales amount here, comma required, so comma format. After reading, yes, finally you can apply in which format you need your output. Okay, so you'll get output like this. So your sales date and sales amount, all the variables you are reading with all the observations. Sales date is a numeric variable, sales amount is a numeric variable. You are applying date name and dollar formats. Finally. Okay. Next. What single trailing is doing here? So when you are reading the data conditionally, yes, we'll use a single trailing option. So what was happening is, what exactly it is doing? See, generally, what is the nature of an input statement? What I told you in the last class when we discussed about double trailing. What is the nature of an input statement? If I give it 2 variables, or 3 variables, or 4 variables, how many variables will give? It will read those many records only. 2 variables means it will read the 2 variables only. For example, sale ID, state it will read. After that, if you mention 2 variables means That's it. It work was done. It will go to next observation, start reading. It won't bother this one. But for us, we have to read these variables also, right? Sales rate and sales amount. To read that one, what it will do? So if I mention single trailing, instead of going into the next observation, what it will do? First, it will hold the state, sale ID and state variables in a temporary memory until it will read the remaining two variables. Okay, so what will happen? First, an input statement, sales date and state, it will read. Okay, immediately it won't go and display in the output data set. What it will do? So we are giving a single trailing, right? So it will hold these two variables in the memory until read the remaining. So state is equal to AP, it will check the condition. Condition true. So it will read the remaining two variables also, sales date and sales amount. Once it is done, yes, sales date, sale ID state, and along with sales date and sales amount, 4 variables will go and display in the output data. Okay, next again, after completion, come to here. First sale ID state it will read. It will hold in the memory. It will check the condition. State is equal to AP, condition failed. Else if state is equal to MA, condition success. What is the same input variable? Sale date and sales amount. It will read. Once it read, then all these 4 it will display in the data set. So what single trailing will do? What single trailing will do? It will hold the values in the memory until it reads all the variables, all the variable values, until it will reach all the variable values. Okay, that's what single trailing will do. So when you use the single trailing, whenever if you want to read the data conditionally like this, we'll use a single trailing. Okay, what it will do? After reading the first or 1 or 2 variables or 3 variables, it will hold those variables in the memory until it will read the remaining variables. That's what single trailing will do. Clear?
Question?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What would we do if the date were before the state?
The date was before. So here we are applying the conditional. Okay, we are going for condition.
No.
I understand. The question was, I understand.
Mhm.
Your MP was here. It's a third variable.
Yes.
So you used a logic saying that by the time you already read the state variable, so you are using the condition.
Mhm.
So let us suppose your state variable itself not there.
Okay.
Then what will do? So
Yeah.
you have to build a condition given data. What I will do? I don't have any option. Means I write by sale ID. Sale ID is equal to 100. Then read. If sale ID is equal to 2342, read. If sale ID is equal to 234, if sale ID is equal to 7656. Individually different conditions I'll write. So you have to build a logic, you have to build a condition on a given data. You don't have another option.
Okay.
Okay. That's the
Understood.
reason this is very rare scenario. It won't happen. Generally, if one variable, only one format it will give wherever it will go. Okay.
Okay. Sounds
Very
good.
rarely we'll use input options. Very rarely you'll get this condition. If you found this condition, you have to build a logic according to your data.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So we have 4 records, the data lines.
Hmm.
In this data lines, we are taking only 2 states only. AP and
Yes.
Madhya Pradesh.
Hmm.
So I want to take 4 different states. What will you do?
4 different statements. You write four statements, will write.
MP place we have to take HP Himachal Pradesh, and AP place I want to take the Uttarakhand. What will happen?
That's what, right? Okay. Okay, you have to write a condition depends on your data. Okay. See, very simple. This if else topic we haven't discussed. So this condition, the next topic is our if else conditions only. There you will understand how to use the conditions there. Okay. Now for your question, how to change the logic? You have to change the logic. Simple. For example, what is your data? You tell me data. Where you want to replace?
HP Himachal Pradesh. Second
Where-
record we take the Himachal
Where-
Pradesh,
Hmm.
and AP third record we can change the Uttarakhand, UK.
Okay. You have 4 different records here, right? Correct.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
have any other logic? So you're writing the condition. Okay. If AP, MP. Okay. Now what I understand, if it is AP also, if it is UK also, same format. Sale date and sales amount. Correct. So instead
Yes,
of
sir.
equal to, you can use an in operator there. If anyone is there, if in of AP, comma, UK. If anyone is there, then it will read as sale date in sale date in MMDDY format in sales amount.
Okay.
If your state is either MP, what one? Okay, HP and MP, correct?
Yes, sir.
HP and MP. Your state will be any of these 2 states. It will read the sale date in a date name and comma. Clear? You have
Yes,
to
sir.
change the logic depends on your data.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this in operator we haven't discussed, so you may not aware.
Further. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
Going forward, we'll see that we'll discuss those things. Then you'll understand.
Sir.
Sales data, 4 observation, 4 errors. Is reading correctly now?
Yes, sir.
Simple. So here my point is you have to understand what single trailing is doing when we have to use a single trailing. Okay. Hi guys, sorry. So we lost power. We don't have backup. I'm arranging the backup. We'll wait for 5 minutes. Up to single trailing was clear, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
One more concept.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it is clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear, sir. but we are not able to see any screen.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's what we lost power. My laptop was disconnected.
Okay,
Let's
sir, no
wait for
problem.
5 to 10
No problem.
minutes. I'm continuously this. I think for your others, everyone is receiving the notes. For you alone, it's failing again. Able to see my screen, everyone?
Yeah, as we can see.
Okay. So clear, right? Single trailing option. When we want to read the data, conditionally, we'll use a single trailing option. It will hold the values in the memory until it will reach the remaining values. Okay. Right. So that's about the options we have. Either in file options and input options and dataset options. Okay. In this chapter, one more last topic we have is methods, input methods. Okay. There are 3 types of input methods we have to read the data. One is list input method. Okay. Next is column input method. Column input method. Third is formatted input. Okay. So these are the three methods we have. In these three methods, already two methods we know, but we don't know the method name. That's it. Okay. So first one, list input method. List input method is nothing but if you are reading the data, if your data is separated by space or any other special character, till now how you read the data, that is normal list input method. Okay. See here. See this data. If your raw data was like this, if your data was separated by space or any other special character, how we are reading the data? Data set name and length statement. If required, you mention the length. Okay. If not required, don't mention. Okay. In file data lines, input statement, student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight. You are giving the variables and you are reading the data. See, no errors, no warnings, 4 observations, 6 variables it is reading. 4 observations, 6 variables. So if you read the data like this, it is list input method. I told you, right? We know the method, but we don't know the name until today. Clear? So this is general program only, right? So generally I write about variable names in a horizontal way. Now I'm writing in a vertical. However you want to write, you can write it, no problem. If you want to write it like this, okay, you can write it. Your comfort. Okay. Don't feel this is a different thing, same thing. Correct. So this is the same program. Daily we are discussing. So this is the list input method. If your raw data is separated by any special character or any space, if you are reading the data, whatever we discussed till now today, it's a list input method. Now this list input methods have some drawbacks. Now those drawbacks will going to overcome in a column input method. Okay. So let us discuss what are those drawbacks we have in a list input method. Okay. So this is the first perfect thing. See the scenario now. While reading the data, I don't want to read all the variables. Here, an input statement, you are reading all the variables, right? I don't want to read all the variables. My requirement is, I want to read only limited number of variables. Let us assume I want to read only student ID, gender, height, weight. So this name and age I don't want to read. This name and age I don't want to read. I want to read only student ID, gender, height, weight. Will I able to read it? Just run the program. See the log. See, it was showing invalid data per weight, invalid data per weight. Student 1, 4 observations, 4 variables are created. See, student ID in gender place, I got name values. In height place, I got a age values. In a weight place, I got a missing. You data everything that missing. Correct? You can't read this one. Because in a list input method, you have to read all the variables. You can't read a specific variables. Can I say this is a drawback? First of all, it won't work. Why? Because in a list input method, you have to read all the variables. You can't read any specific variables alone. So can I say this is also drawback? The first drawback. Clear everyone?
Clear, sir.
Okay. See the next one. Next scenario. Here I'm reading the variables in this order. Student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight. I don't want to read in this order. I want to read student ID. Okay, let me read it. Name and age. Okay, name and age. First I. Okay, age and gender I will list. Student ID, name, height, weight. Then age, gender. In this order I want to read. Will I able to read it? While reading itself, I don't want to read in this order. I want to read student ID, name, height, weight, then age, gender. Will I able to read in this order? Again, it was throwing error. Invalid data for weight, invalid data for age. Student to data set is created. 4 observations, 6 variables. See, again your data got messed up. In height place, you got age details. In weight, you got missing. In age place, you got height details. In gender place, you got weight details. So what we can understand, so this is also won't work. Because in a listing method, you have to read the variables in the same order as existing in the data. In input data, how the data is there, according to that only you have to give the variables names. You cannot change the order. Correct? So in the, this is also a drawback. You have to read the variables. You have to read the variables in the same order as they exist in the input raw data. So how the raw data is there, according to that you have to read. You cannot read by your own in whichever order you want. So this is also drawback. Now, next. In the list input method, I was clearly told that your data is separated by the space, or your data is separated by the comma or any other special character, you can able to read it. But suppose your data is not separated by any special character, your data was like this. Okay. Suppose your data was like this now. It was not separated by space, it was not separated by comma, it was not separated by any special character. So trying to read this data now. Will you able to read it? From the program. See the law. See, invalid data for student ID, invalid data for age, invalid data errors. Student data set is created, 0 observations. You can't even read the data. So this is also drawback. You can't read the data if there is a no delimiter separation. At least a delimiter, any space separation should be there. Also won't work. Okay. So I can say this is also another drawback. You can't read the data if there is no delimiter separation. Clear? That's these are the drawbacks you have in a list input method. Yeah.
Sir,
Tell me.
here data lines are not adding now, sir.
Where data lines are not adding.
That means input, after input statement, we are using the data lines.
Correct.
After giving the raw data lines, ending we have to give the data lines, no, sir. Is there compulsory? Yeah?
Where ending we are giving data lines.
Here,
Semicolon.
sir. Previously, in before the column.
Where ending you are giving semicolon. So data lines.
Previous classes that we have added data lines also now ending.
No. Why we added a data lines at the ending? I mean, which class I added? You have to write a data lines here only. What is
Here
the
also
standard
data lines
syntax?
is-
What is the standard syntax? We are writing the data lines here only. We are ending with a semicolon.
Data lines is the location of the raw data set.
Raw data. Here only one place will write it. While data lines will write in a two
Here
places.
in-file data lines also are mentioning, no, sir. In-file data lines.
In-file data lines. Okay. It's a location of the raw data. Okay. Understand. Your doubt was okay. In-file data lines I'm writing. Here also in-file data lines. Data lines you're writing. Okay. This is what your doubt. You have to write it right. In-file you're telling the data is available, data lines location. Then you have to write it here, mandatory.
Okay.
If you did not write here, where SAS will go and search. You mentioned that your location is data lines. Then where the data lines?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. So clear, guys. Others. So in this list input method, I found the 3 drawbacks. Okay. So one is you have to read all the variables. All the variables should be in the same order. And if there is no separation will be there, you can't read. So these 3 drawbacks, and simply I'm going to overcome using column input method. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to read the data in a column input method to overcome this list input method drawbacks. Okay. Here is program. Data set name, in-file, my data is available data line location. Okay. In input statement, see, I'm reading the each variable by position. Okay. See, your student ID, I'm going to read it from first to third position. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. You're reading the student ID. Next. Name variable I'm reading. So this is 4th to 6th position. 4, 5, 6. Next, age at 7th to 8th position. Gender 9th position. Height 10, 11, 12. Weight 13, 14 position. Clear? So in a column input method, each variable you are going to read by position from starting to ending position. Clear? So if you read the data like this, it's a column input method. Clear? Now this method will overcome all these 3 drawbacks. First one, you have to read all the variables, not required. In a column input method, you no need to read all the variables. Whichever variables you want to read, you can read those variables alone. For example, I want to read student ID, name, height, weight. Only these 4 variables alone I want to read. Age and gender, I don't want to read. Okay. See, run the program. Previously, when you do it using list input method, you got a wrong output. Now check. Student 1, 4 observation, 4 variables alone it is created. See, it's reading correctly. Student ID, name, height, and weight also coming correctly. Okay. So I can say I overcome this data issue, this drawback. You no need to read all the variables in a column input method. You can read the variables, only limited number of variables, whichever variables you are reading. How it is possible? Because you are reading the variables by position. So now I am going to read the height variable. So it is at the 10, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12 position. Your weight at 13 and 14 position. Okay, clear? So we overcome that issue. Next issue. Read the variable same order as they exist in the raw data. Not required. Now whichever order you want, you can read it now. Which order you want? Suppose student ID, name, after that height, weight, then age, gender. In this order, I want to read it. I want to read in this order? Yes. You can read it in this order only. See, this is not asked for the raw data. But still you are reading. Student to data set is created. So you are reading student ID name, then height, weight, then age, gender. Clear? How this is also possible? Because here you are reading the data, you are reading each variable by position. So when you're reading by position, whichever order you do, according to that it will. So the second drawback also to overcome in a column input method. And the last one, you can't read the data if there is a no delimiter. Here every program, see, here my data is not separated by any space or any comma, any special delimiter. Still I am reading and I created a data set. So I can say the third drawback also I overcome. Clear? Agree? So these three drawbacks we can simply overcome using column input method. But after seeing these three programs, what is the drawback did you observe in a column input method? What is the main drawback for this column input method? Did you guys observe anything? Understand? Okay, you are in a column input method, you are reading by position. But what is the problem here? What is the drawback we have here?
If we don't have same characters for the variables, we can't read it.
Same characters for the variables.
For observation, sorry.
For observations, yeah. So what is that meaning? Can you elaborate to others?
So for example, if the name was first name was ABC and second name was DEFGH, 5 characters, then you can't use it.
Correct. See, every time your name cannot be a 3 characters, right? Here in 4 to 6 position, I'm telling. So here every name is 3 letters, you are able to read it. Some name, for example, some people names was ABC, some people names was different. Some Kishan, okay? Some names are one, it's only 4 characters or 5 characters are there. Okay? So different characters are there. See, 2 letters, here 4 letters, here 5 letters, here only again 3 letters. If it is different lengths, you can't even apply column input method. Correct? It won't work. Agree? See, it will going to read only the first observation alone. 4 observations, 6 variables, right? You end up with the wrong output. See, first observation it read correctly, remaining everything was messed up. Clear? So the main drawback for this column input method, your all the observations should be in a fixed length. Then only it will work. Okay. The main drawback here is all the observations must be fixed lengths. Then only it will work, or else it won't work. Clear? So this is the drawback we have in a column input method. But you guys understand how to read the data in a column input method by position. Simple. Okay. So under this column input methods only, we have 2 to 3 other methods also there. So let us discuss one by one those things. First, absolute pointer method. So let's see how to read the data in an absolute pointer method. So in the absolute pointer method, you are going to use @ symbols. Okay, here what is @ meaning means, here @ and for example, okay, here @ reference, it will counts the position. It counts the position numbers from the beginning. Counts the position number from the beginning. See, first student ID variable I want to read. So it counts the position from beginning. 1. It is the first position only. So @1 student ID. How many characters you want to read? 3 characters. So 3 dot. Next name variable I want to read. So name variable from starting how much position? 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth position. So how many characters are reading? 3. So 3 dot. Again, age variable I want to read. So to read age from starting how much position? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seventh position. So how many characters are reading? 2 characters. Like this, so whichever variable you want to read. So first count the position from the beginning. You have to mention an @ how many characters are reading. Mention the other length like this. See, if you read the data like this, it's a absolute pointer method. See, student data set is created. All the variables and all the observations. Clear? So you can overcome all the above 3 drawbacks here also. List input method, what are the drawbacks we saw? Here also it will be same. For example, you want to read only specific variables alone. For example, name, student ID, name, height, weight. Only 4 variables you want to read. Yes, you can read it. This is the first drawback, right? You can read only specific variables. And I want to read the variables in whichever order I want. Yes, you can read it. For example, student ID, height, weight, then age, gender. In this order, I want to read it. Okay. Yes, you can read it in this order as well. In the absolute pointer method as well. See, student ID, name, height, weight, and reading. So this is also one of the drawback in a list input method. So this drawback also we are overcoming. The third drawback is if the data is not separated by any special character, still you are reading in this absolute pointer method as well. But this method also same drawback. All the observations should be there in a fixed length. Then only this method also will work. Absolute pointer method. Only thing you have to understand is how we have to apply this method by these @ symbols. If you use @ symbols, it will count the position from the beginning. Simple. Okay, clear guys? Similar to absolute pointer, we have one more is relative pointer method. So let me show you how to read the data in a relative pointer method. How to read the data in a relative pointer method. Okay. Here you have both the things, @ and decimals. The @ meaning always will be the same. It will count the position from the beginning. Okay. Whereas + represents the where n represents the number of positions to move. Number of positions to move. Okay. See, from the given data, I want to read the in absolute relative pointer method. First student ID I'm reading. So I'm using @ symbol. So @ what it will count the position from the beginning. Okay. Student ID, how many characters? 3 characters I'm reading. Now my cursor was here. Now I want to read the name variable. So from here, how many positions I need to move to read the name variable? Just a 1 position. So +1. Just move here. 1 position you move, you read the name variable, 3 characters. So from here, for example, I want to read a weight variable. From here, how many positions I need to move from here? Not from the beginning, from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See, from the 10th position, you are reading the weight variable. Okay. Again, you can't go back. So for example, you want to read age variable, use @ symbol. From the beginning of which position? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Age. After reading the age, you read the gender, just 1 position move. After gender, just move 1 position. So to move, you use a + symbol. To count the position from the beginning, you use @ symbols. Simple. Okay. Clear? Any confusions? These are just methods. Okay. Clear? Any doubts here? Any relative method or substitute or tell me?
Drawbacks of absolute and relative methods.
Yeah, it will be same only. When these methods will work, same drawback. All the observations must have fixed lengths.
Okay.
If it doesn't have fixed length, because everything you are reading by position, right? The position should be fixed. If positions are not fixed, it won't work. Same problem. Okay. Okay, in this category, one last one. Line pointer method. This is somewhat interesting. See. Line pointer. Here a line represents the hashtag. Hashtag represents the line. Okay. See, for example, my data was like this. Student ID, name, age, gender, height, weight. Here, student ID, name, age, okay. Your gender, height, everything's supposed to be there in 1 line, but my data was there in 2 lines. 1 observation split into 2 lines. 1 observation split into 2 lines. 1 observation split into 2 lines. I want to read these 2 lines. I want to read it as a 1 observation. Okay. Use the hashtag. So first hashtag 1. So first line. So in the first line, first it will read the student ID, name, age. So I'm using absolute pointer method. Okay. Now, still my observation are done. I'm going to use the second line. In the second line, gender, height, weight. Then once it's done, it automatically go to the next observation. Next record. If the next record, the first line, this is the first line. Student ID, name, age, it will read. Again, go to second line, height, gender, height. Once come to end, automatically go to next record. Clear? So if one observation was split into multiple lines, we'll use line pointer method. So here hashtag represents the line. So in the first line, read these three variables. In the second line, read these three variables. Okay. Done. See the log. So this is student data set. 4 observations, 6 variables. Is it reading correctly? That's it. So this is line pointer method. And these are the methods we have under column input methods. Clear? So all this column input method, absolute, line pointer, and relative pointer, all the 4 methods, the drawback will be the same. All the observation must be fixed length. Then only we can able to apply. Okay. Clear now? So now we are clear what is list input method and what are the drawbacks we have, what are the column input methods, what are the drawbacks they have, and the formatted input method, the last one. Formatted input method we already aware. Very simple. Formatted input method means while you are reading the data, if you apply informats and formats, so that is formatted input method. See, so last class we discussed the same, right? See, here I used a informats and formats to read my data. I used a informats and format to read my data. Okay, if you use like this, is formatted input method. Simple. Okay, to read the data, if you use informats and formats, it is formatted input. Simple. Clear? Previously, we don't know the method name. Now the method name is formatted input method. Here, so that's the reason in the starting I told you, we already knows the 2 methods, but we don't know the method name. That is list input method and formatted input method. We don't know the method name. Now, only thing we are not aware is column input methods. Okay, that's it. So these are the 3 input methods we have to read any data. Okay. That's it. Any questions? Anyone? If no doubts, so that's it for today. So that's it for this chapter as well. So Monday, freshly new chapter, conditional process we'll discuss. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Thank you. Any questions? Anyone have anything?
Recording stopped.
If no questions, okay, we close for today. Okay. Still anyone tool was pending installation by this weekend, please clear it off. Install everyone. So by next Monday, I need a tool from everyone because without tool you cannot practice. Okay. So those already have a tool, please practice daily. I was telling. So don't keep a stock, practice every day. Minimum 1 to 2 hours you have to practice. Okay, just to listening the class and go and read the notes, it's no use. I'm telling again, please practice. Okay. After 2-3 chapters, I'll give the task as well. So by the time you will be in line with everyone. Okay. So practice. If you find any issue while you're practicing, you're getting any errors or warnings, anything, please reach out to me. You can call me, you can text me in the WhatsApp. I'll reply back. What you're dealing mistake. Okay. Don't wait for until next class also. Find any difficulties, reach out to me immediately. Okay. So use the weekend time. practice whatever we discussed in up to today. Okay. So,
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks everyone.